It's about a family of crazy Jewish New Yorkers. They're what you might call dysfunctional in all sorts of, I hope, entertaining and amusing ways. The book is called The Believers because most of the characters in the book are in some ways, in some form or another, believers in a particular political principle or a particular religious faith, and it's about the way in which their beliefs operate and what happens to them when their beliefs are put under stress, how they cleave to their beliefs or how they allow their beliefs to crumble, and what happens to them when they lose their convictions. It's contemporary. It's set just after 9/11. So it's partly about life in New York post 9/11. I've often been accused of writing unlikable characters, and one of the protagonists of this book is a fearsome matriarch called Audrey, who has a very foul mouth and is rather unpleasant to her children. I would like to think she has redeeming features, and that she is at the very least quite funny, but I have been told that some people find her intolerable, and I'm very much of the belief that you shouldn't look to fiction or to a novel for people who you would like to be friends with or for people who you would like to emulate, but simply for people whose dilemmas, whose problems, whose fates engage you and interest you. I would like to think I provide that. I don't necessarily provide heroines and heroes, but as somebody said on a panel the other day, one wouldn't necessarily want Lord and Lady Macbeth to come to dinner, but you can't deny that they're very interesting people to read about. Well, I think as always, the characters one writes are partly pure imaginative creations, and they're sort of also patchworks of people and experiences that one has known and had, and possibly there's probably a little bit of oneself in everybody that one writes. So I suppose part of the reason why I'm a little anguished when people say they hate my characters so much is because there is always a little part of every character I write that I identify with. Some of the characters are passionately socialist. There are a series of arguments throughout the book about the significance of 9/11, and the father in the novel, who actually is a sort of absent presence throughout much of the novel because he goes into a coma, he has a stroke, and is unconscious for much of the action of the novel, but he dominates a great deal because he's a very large figure in all of their lives. At the moment when he is stricken, he is actually in court defending somebody who is being charged with being an accessory to terrorists, because he went to a terrorist training camp in Afghanistan. And his wife is angry with him because he's not defending him on the charge of sort of legitimate anti-American rage. So they're a family of sort of old lefties, and the book is partly about the way in which the left responded to 9/11 and the arguments that went on within the left about what 9/11 meant and to what extent it was reasonable to regard America as culpable. I'm not sure it would satisfy a sort of a Hollywood notion of a happy ending, but at least for some of the characters, I would say the ending is roughly happy. You know, I always have a problem being able to provide one beautiful eureka moment in interviews like this one. And I often suspect other writers are faking it when they claim those eureka moments, because I think, well, certainly, just speaking for myself, that most of the time there's a kind of soup of ideas that's sort of brewing over a series of months or even years. So it's a whole bunch of things. One thing that I can single out is that I remember reading in a magazine, you know, in some trashy magazine, I don't know, Time or something, that scientists were trying to locate the gene that might predispose a person to belief of whatever kind, religious, political, or otherwise. It's like, you know, when they try and locate the gene for homosexuality or whatever. And it occurred to me that whether or not such a gene existed, one knew in life that there were certain people one met who were definitely the believer type. People who would just seem to be predisposed to be communists or Catholics. They liked the business of articles of faith, and they were better at cleaving to them than others. And then there were others who were natural skeptics. I tend to be a skeptic, and all, you know, sort of came out that way, it seems to me. I've never had a, you know, nothing ever struck me as, I remember, you know, as a really young girl singing hymns in school and thinking, this doesn't make sense. Because how can the people in Africa be thinking, you know, being told something else, and how can they be all, you know, we can't be right and they're all going to hell, and they can't be right and we're all going to hell. It's just, there's something wrong here. So there was that. There was the notion of the belief gene, and then a whole series of other things. There was a very dear friend who had a foul mouth and a huge heart, but an incredible temper. And she was some of the inspiration for the mother character in this. But, you know, the list would go on for several pages and possibly be quite dull. The truth is that many, many things led me to it. The promise I made to myself, or rather the goal I set for myself, was to try and write about religious faith and about faith of all kinds in a non-sneery way. It doesn't seem to me, there's no sort of interest to me in writing a sort of mocking or condescending novel about the business of belief. So one of the characters in the novel abandons her socialist faith and becomes an Orthodox Jew. As another important strand of the book is about Orthodox Judaism. And I did a lot of research into Orthodoxy and spent a lot of time with Orthodox Jews and so on. And I think one of the things that pleased me most in the way in which the book was received was that Orthodox Jews told me that not only did they think it was a respectful account of their beliefs and so on, but that it was sort of emotionally accurate about what it is to, particularly about somebody coming to belief for the first time. What you call in Hebrew being a Bal Teshuvah, that's to say a sort of the Jewish equivalent of being born again, coming to the religion and taking it on. And so I actually tried to write about that as sympathetically as I could. I am a writer. I sort of feel as if writers are divided into those who have to have everything very carefully plotted out before they begin, or at the very least have a sort of roadmap, and another, to me, completely exotic group of writers who start with just an idea, a sentence, an image, and allow it to lead them where it may. I am very much of the former camp, and I always have a kind of a map. And sometimes in fact, invariably, I take routes away from the road I planned. But I sort of like to imagine that I know where I'm going. I would not be able to start if I didn't. So yes, this has a plot, and it follows the lives of two daughters, the mother, and a son over the course of a year. And it's about the various crises that are precipitated by the father becoming very ill. Yes, I mean, I think, it's really interesting. I think I would say that I'm probably quite an irreverent person, but it got a very earnest and fulsome praise from the Archbishop of Canterbury. So it's not so irreverent that it would offend, serious religious people.